Hey, Sir Charles Carey here, and I got a question for you. How has the pandemic affected you? But I like to say this. I've been called out. My good friend Steve Hopper called me out, and probably a few others, you may be one of them, in regards to how are we really doing in the midst of this COVID-19 debacle. And I call it a debacle for a bunch of reasons, which I'm not going to go into because I don't want to deal with the politics and all that kind of thing. But I can say this. I have to agree with Steve Hopper, that is. Steve mentioned how he felt in the midst of this pandemic. You know, when you're a speaker, trainer, or a person that takes on a platform in front of hundreds and sometimes thousands, it can be a grave shock to you. And I know for me, that's exactly what it was, because, you know, I first came to this industry from a very similar industry, which was the music profession, where I would sing or perform with a band or do track dates, and you know, the energy you get from people in real time is second to none, if that's your thing. And if it is your thing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you're a musician in a band and you're not up front, you're not the front man, that energy is so eclectic, it's just riveting. And you know, as a speaker for the past 20 years, I've spoken on all sorts of stages. And when this pandemic took place, I'll be honest enough to say that it was like someone pulled the rug from under me. Yes, partly because I do like being on stage, but it's not really about being on stage. I like being on stage with a sense of purpose. And for me, overcoming substance abuse after so many years and being a 2-time cancer survivor, that was my reasoning, or the base reasoning, for me to take on that platform when I shifted from music. See, it wasn't just about being there to entertain people, although there is or can be some entertainment value. It was about, yes, let me get out there and do my thing, but for the benefit of other people. So going back again to this COVID-19 debacle, it really floored me that I would not be able to use the platform that I've come to know and come to learn to love. And you know, I just really wasn't sure, and I was wondering, well, is it going to be a week? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Is it going to be a month? And now it's been since March, and excuse me, I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So I do understand what I do on any platform for any organization. It doesn't matter. I already know it's not about me. However, because I was able to go through the things that I did and, you know, get the certifications, blah, 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 that gives me the credibility to speak on certain platforms about specific things, in addition to the certifications, because I've actually gone through those things. And again, I'm not focusing on me in that fashion. I'm focusing on the point that I was really lost, and I didn't know how I would respond or how I would bounce back. You know, having a sense of resilience is phenomenal, but you have to be resilient in a strategic manner. And I'm still working on it. You know, I don't have all the answers. Yeah, I miss being on stage and all that, but I don't have all the answers. I don't know how long this thing is going to last. I don't know if there's going to be a new way of doing what we do in real time. And actually, I want to thank Steve for putting this challenge out there, because it's making me think, what are you going to do, you know, to maintain your place in space? And what are you going to do to add value to those who understand what it is that you do, benefit from what you have to offer, and how can you bring it in a quality fashion? And where's my water? And what I've discovered is that I have found an interest in some of the online technology. I have found an interest in sort of switching up the game. You know, I'm looking at things differently. I can't reveal it all because it's still a work in progress, but I'm enjoying discovering another aspect of what I do as a speaker and as a trainer, and being able to bring that to you guys, being able to bring it to the forefront at some point when it's ready. So I think that it's important we recognize, okay, things are going to change, and they will be different. But as a good friend of mine says, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And with all that I've been through, I like to think that I'm tough, but I think that you're tough too. Because those that are hearing this message, those that heard Steve's message, those that are trying to figure things out, you're in the game. You know, I'm always saying, radiate the brain and change the game. Well, if you're in the game, you're already in that process. You're already in that phase of thinking it through, working it out, coming up with things. And yeah, you may fall on your face a few times. That's fine. That's all part of it. That's all part of the learning curve, the learning process, and the learning rate. How many times will you fall down before you get up? So again, I don't have the answers. Yes, I do miss being out there doing what we do as speakers, or trainers, and authors. But I am reinventing my approach. SCC Inc., we are reinventing how we are going to show up in the marketplace, and I would suggest that you do too. I've been so busy, honestly, in participating in different events, masterminds, and the reality show and all that kind of thing. I've been so busy doing different things that in some ways it's good, but I can grab ideas from different things that I'm involved with. And in grabbing those different ideas, I'm able to really think things through. So I really appreciate my downtime. I appreciate the ability to really think about it, write it down on paper so I can see it in black and white. Look at the online classes that I take, the online conferences and workshops that I've been attending. I'm educating myself and reinvigorating my senses and allowing my psyche to really be pushed and prodded along so that I can come up with something that really makes a difference. And when you see the end result, you'll know that I put some work into it. So once again, Steve, thanks for challenging me and challenging other speakers. Actually, any entrepreneur, you're probably faced with the same thing. It just so happens that Steve and I are speakers. But any entrepreneur, you have to do the same things. You got to really reevaluate yourself. You got to think about where you are, where you once were, where do you want to go, what are your options, what are the resources that you have. There's a lot of nuggets in there. I hope you're writing this down. Take advantage of each and everything. Online classes, take some, talk to different people, read different things, online things and real-time things, read different posts, look at LinkedIn, look at all these different platforms and gather, like squirrels, gather your resources and take them back and pick and choose what's for you, or test things out and make them work for you. So with that being said, I'm going to go because I've got a couple of other things I got to do. I thank those of you that have been watching this. Please share it out. Challenge accepted. How has COVID-19 really affected you? Be honest. It's time to be transparent, not just with your audience, but with yourself most importantly. And you know me, you got to radiate the brain, change the game.